Good morning. So it is garden tour day. It is another beautiful day here in sunny southeast Queensland, Australia, where I live. And I thought it was the perfect day to take you around the garden early in the morning. It is going to be quite hot today. We are having a string of hot days. So I thought I'd get out here nice and early and show you what the garden is looking like. We are in the middle of spring here in Australia, and where I live, it is a subtropical environment, and we are already really heating up. It's also quite a humid environment here, so that has quite an impact on the plants as well. So I thought I'd try and show you as much as possible today, not just the veggie garden. So we're going to head out to the front garden and show you the new fence and how all the plants in that garden bed are looking. So despite the pretty dress that I have on today, I have my boots on because we have already seen a couple of snakes this season and I don't want to risk it. This is the front yard here. The street trees are really struggling. I'm trying to keep the water up to them, but they're not very happy, so we'll see how we can go with that. The front fence is looking lovely though, and the little lavenders that we planted behind, oh, it's very shadowy. Little lavenders are doing well, so I will try and get down here again this afternoon and give them another water, but I think so far they are coping okay. The other plants that we planted in this garden bed, we've got the Alternathera here. Most of these are doing well. Some of them have not liked the transplant. And we've got all the gardenias through here as well, which they are growing nicely, so I'm pleased with that. Interesting thing in this bed is that one of the bromeliads that we planted quite a few years ago is actually going to flower. So it's been quite interesting watching this flower stalk appear, and I'll be sure to show you what the flower looks like when it pops out. This garden bed here, everything is doing okay. I lost the poppies that we planted in here. I'm kind of not surprised. We don't have the right climate for them. The Evelyn David Austin rose that's here has leafed out nicely, so hopefully it will bloom this year. Last year was the first year I had it, and I didn't look after it because I was pregnant, and it made one flower which I actually missed. I didn't notice it had flowered until afterwards. So you can see the hose is on there. It was obviously the last thing I watered yesterday. Down here we've got the Golden Glow, is that Euryops? These here, and they have grown quite a lot since we planted them, so I'm hopeful that they're going to do better in this spot than they did in the other spot. Here at the front entrance we have our herb bed, which is, it's just exploded. It's crazy. So we have thyme, oregano, parsley, chives. Oh, actually there's another parsley back in here. At the back we've got sage, another parsley, and then dotted throughout we've got basil. This is the lettuce leaf basil, and it has done really well. We've already done a big harvest of it and made a couple of batches of pesto, but I think I'm going to have to come in here and actually cut back some of these other ones, like this sage, which has just gone crazy, to give the basil a bit more room. Daughter's little basil plant is also doing pretty good. Along the fence here we have climbing roses. This one is the one that was existing and it was doing really well. I haven't seen any flower buds start, but I probably need to give it a bit more fertilizer. This one here is the same variety of climbing rose. We had it planted in a different spot in the garden and we transplanted it about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it is leafed out fully and it's doing really well, so I'm really pleased about that. Hopefully that will fill in this side of the fence nicely. We spent quite a bit of time mulching all of the garden beds, as you can see behind, and that is definitely helping. We have had pretty well no rain for at least a month, and the garden beds are coping with the mulch because we are able to water a bit, and the mulch is holding in that moisture a lot longer than it would have. So we'll see how things go. They are expecting us to have a very hot and dry summer, so I've just got to try and keep the water up to them as best I can, and fingers crossed the mulch gets the garden through this really hot weather. Oh, that was a bug. Yes, fingers crossed the mulch helps get the garden through the really hot and dry weather we're going to have. So we've been up at the front of the house and now we're going to head down towards the veggie garden and the orchard. This is the chicken coop right here. We'll go see if we can see the girls. Oh, they're up on the rocks. Good morning, girls. There's Bucket, the black one, and Nancy is the one walking along the rocks there. Minnie is down beside the coop there, and Puzzle might be in the laying boxes. We have really loved having the chickens. They are starting to lay, so we are getting probably 2 or 3 eggs a day at the moment from the 4 of them. Minnie is the only one who hasn't started laying yet. It's great, we can feed them our scraps and they are fun to have, and it's been a really nice addition to the garden. From the chicken coop, we're now going down a terrace to where the veggie garden is. Okay, we're down in the veggie patch now. So we have 4 raised veggie garden beds here, as well as a strawberry planter here. And I have a couple of little in-ground sections as well. So the garden is doing really well. We're already getting quite a bit of a harvest out of it. I am struggling with a few things, as is expected. The powdery mildew has already taken out the Cherry Falls tomatoes, and it is having a very good go at the zucchinis. This is to be expected. We live in a really humid climate here. As you can see, the sweat is already starting to, yeah, really humid. Oh my gosh, Puzzle is out again. Brief interlude while I try and get this chicken back into her yard. She is going in the wrong direction. Okay, I've got them back in. I've put them into their coop area, which still has plenty of room for them. And we'll figure out where Puzzle is getting out. Naughty chicken. I think we were talking about the raised beds before we got rudely interrupted by a chicken. So I'll take you bed by bed and show you what we've got growing in them all. And then we'll see if we can get down to the orchard. This is the strawberry planter. It is a Mr. Stuckey planter and it is doing really well. We can't get the green stalks here in Australia, so this is the best alternative I could come up with. We're getting a few strawberries. My daughter is eating them all, which is great. And yeah, it's working out really well. We're definitely getting to harvest more strawberries than we did when they were planted in the ground. Definitely seems to be a lot less pest pressure. We were just losing all the strawberries to ants previously. You will note that all of the garden beds have netting around them. This is to stop the possums and the kangaroos from eating all the plants. And it is working really well. I am finding, however, that this one that is on the zucchini bed is stopping pollination a bit. So I probably need to actually come in and see if I can lower it down just a bit, maybe to about here, and see if that lets more bees in but still keeps the possums out. See, the powdery mildew is definitely getting a pretty strong hold on these plants, so I don't expect them to last too much longer. So we are doing succession sowing of zucchini in an attempt to keep actually getting some production. So this is the golden zucchini and we've had a couple of those. This is a Cocozelle and we've only had one of those and it wasn't fully pollinated, so hopefully we can get one of those. I'd like to try it properly. And yeah, so we've got 4 zucchini plants in here. We've got a couple of basil plants dotted throughout and they are doing okay. I don't think they're getting quite enough light because they're being shaded out by the zucchini. We have a volunteer cucamelon and it is just going nuts. Interestingly, when I planted this cucamelon last year, well, not this one, but the previous one that this one sprouted from, it took forever to get going. And I don't think we had cucamelons until pretty well like March or April. It was right towards autumn. But this one, because it's self-seeded, I guess, it is exploding with cucamelons already. So day before yesterday, I did my first fridge pickle of cucamelons and we'll see how we like them, because we're gonna have to come up with something to do with them. They're definitely not my favorite cucumber. So yeah, my daughter likes them a bit. But she's not going to snack on all of them, so I don't know what we're going to do with them. Maybe everyone's going to be given cucamelons by the basketful. I have other cucumbers planted along this trellis. So this is the Beta Alpha. We've been getting quite a few off there. There's a couple of little ones on there at the moment. And I've got some of the Redlands white cucumbers planted here as well. We've had one of those so far, which is great. If I find that these cucamelons that are going wild are taking over the other cucumbers, I will pull them out because I would much prefer to have full-size cucumbers than these little cucamelons. But at the moment they're not doing any harm, so they can stay. The cucumbers are growing up the trellis that is at the back of the capsicum bed. So I have quite a few capsicums planted in here. At the back here we have a couple of Marconi capsicums. Then we have an Anaheim chili, a mini red capsicum, 2 jalapenos, 3 of the Chinese giant capsicums, 2 of the orange capsicums, and then 3 California wonders. So all of these ones here from the orange to the end here are all new seedlings this year, and they are doing really, really well. This giant capsicum is growing so big, so quick. These 3 along the outside here are the California wonders, and they are overwintered capsicums from last year, and they're doing amazing. So look at the capsicums on this. I really need to come down here and bag these capsicums to stop the Queensland fruit fly from destroying them, because I don't want to lose these. A short intermission because my camera was overheating out in the sun, which gives you an indication of how hot it is already. But I thought we would come into our laundry and I can show you how the lettuce is going. So we are trying growing lettuce under a grow light in our laundry, which stays reasonably cool, because the lettuce out in the garden is already a no-go. It's way too hot. And it is looking really, really good. I'm really impressed. This is it here. So this one is the Australian yellow leaf lettuce, which, wow, look at that. At the back I have, that is the Little Gem. So both are doing really, really well. I have 3 plants planted in every one of these little pots, and I am watering them from the base using this tray here, and that is ensuring that they get plenty of hydration. We just have the little light set up above them, and it is doing really, really well. So I don't think it's going to be too long till we can start harvesting these. Okay, back out here. As I mentioned earlier, we had the Cherry Falls tomatoes succumb to powdery mildew. They are definitely done. I've just left them so that I can harvest the last couple of tomatoes as they blush, like this one. Then I take them up to the house and ripen them up there. So they will be coming out very shortly. The leeks that are in the middle are doing really well. So I'm pleased about that. Not sure what we're going to plant around the leeks next. I'll have to have a bit of a think. The next bed over is our bean bed, and we have snake beans that are growing up the back here, getting quite tall already. And then we have bush beans on either side, so there and there. We also used to have beetroot in the middle here from the winter season, but it got harvested yesterday, I think it was, or maybe the day before, and we'll eat those this week. We have a little bit of silver beet, rainbow silver beet, that is through there. I don't think that would taste very good anymore with this heat, so I'll probably just pull that out soon. I'm putting another sowing of bush beans in that spot very, very shortly. This is our tomato bed at the end here, and we've got a Cape gooseberry that is left over from last year, and it is growing out here. It's gone wild. I'm not getting many of the fruits off it. They keep getting attacked by birds. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of the fruit though. I will insert a clip of me trying it for the first time. But I am collecting it, and we will see if we can get enough to make some jam or something. First Cape gooseberry. I hope it's ripe enough. I really have no idea. But the husk, like the papery shell, was all dried up, and it's a little bit soft, so we'll give it a go. It's really interesting. Hmm. Tastes a bit tomatoey. And tomatoes are not my favourite. I think I might give this to the chickens. Interesting because I can taste like the sweetness and like this kind of citrusy flavour, but then the tomato flavour hits. So I wonder what it would be like as a jam. Well, we've got a heap of fruit, so I guess I'll probably get to try making it into a jam or something. Yeah, there you go. Very interesting. And then we've got 2 cherry tomatoes here, and then a smaller bush here, which is actually a bigger tomato. I don't know the varieties of these tomatoes because they are all just volunteers from last year that I transplanted into this bed. Tomatoes are not our favourites, and so I decided not to dedicate a huge amount of space or time to them this year. I probably won't do that in the future though, because out of, you know, the 3 tomatoes that I transplanted in, 2 of them were cherry tomatoes. And that's a lot of cherry tomatoes. So I think I will probably plant like dedicated tomatoes next year for us, and that way I can choose the varieties that we want. Are doing really well though. I have not pruned these at all, so they're completely wild. Probably not ideal, but is what it is. This is the one down here that is growing the bigger fruit. So at least we are going to get something with bigger fruit by the looks of it, although at the moment they're not looking that much bigger. In this bed we have sweet potatoes and some beetroots along the front. Okay, onto the in-ground planting. So this area here, which we have had to net to stop the kangaroos, has got rosella plants dotted throughout, and we will be using those to make jam, and they are doing quite well. We've had a few flowers on them already. And then I've got zucchinis dotted throughout in between. My succession seedlings that I started to replace the ones in the other bed. However, my timing was not great, apparently, and they got too big before I needed to replace the other ones. So I just found space for them in the ground here, and I have to start more seedlings to replace the ones in the bed now. But that's okay. We're learning. It's all a learning process, and you know, maybe we'll get a couple more zucchinis because they seem to be quite a difficult thing to grow here, which is interesting. I was thinking I might actually try and train a couple of these zucchinis vertically and see how that goes. I've heard that can help with disease pressure and that sort of thing, so we might give that a go. What we've got in this bed is a honeydew melon and a watermelon, and I think I spotted the other day that there was a honeydew fruit. See if we can find it. Yeah, so hopefully that pollinated, because that would be cool. Okay, along this here we have 3 pumpkins, which are doing okay, not amazing. I'm hoping they were going to spill down into this area here, but we will see if that is going to happen. I had to cage them to give them even a chance of starting because of the possums. Then we've got artichokes all the way along here, which are growing nicely, and our beehive down there. Our bees are doing amazing. We have had, well, I'm getting about 2 kilos a week of honey out of them at the moment, which is just amazing. I go in and harvest every 3 or 4 weeks, and yeah, they're doing really, really well, and it's so cool to have bees. You know, you just watch them fly in and out, and you know they're out there doing some good work, pollinating everything, and then we get the amazing honey as well. So it's such a cool little hobby to have. Okay, we're going to do a super quick tour of the orchard because I think my son is waking up from his nap. So we did some work in the orchard recently to try and give it a bit of a fresh start because I totally abandoned it while I was pregnant, and it has perked up, so things are looking a little bit better. So I'm pleased to show you the changes. First, we have our passion fruit here. I never trimmed it back at the end of last year, which is why I think there's so many of the old leaves still hanging on, but it is producing fruit up there and it is doing good. Okay, so chicken coop is all the way up there, and then on this terrace down here we have the veggie garden, and now we have come all the way down these stairs, plus the blueberries that look dreadful and I don't think you're going to make it. and down here into the orchard. So this is our lime tree. It's a Tahitian lime, and the last time you saw it, I think it had hardly any leaves. So this is amazing. We have some fruit starting on it as well. So that is awesome. I'm very excited about that. We have our nectarine tree, which is also doing well, and we still have one fruit left. So hopefully that little guy will develop all the way and we can taste this fruit. We have our macadamia tree, which I think has grown even more since the last time you saw it. It has new buds everywhere. Look at those leaves. So it is clearly happy with its life down here, which is amazing. Over here we have our longan tree. It also seems to be doing pretty good. Not much to report on that one. In exciting news though, the mango. So the last time you guys saw this mango, I thought it was dead. So what we did was we chopped off the top where it was all dead wood, and I fertilized it, and I've been watering it, and we have new leaves. Look at those leaves. So I am thrilled. I think we might actually get to keep this mango tree, which is amazing news. Other positive is that because I had to hack the top off it, it looks like it is actually going to branch out now, which is great because previously it was just one big stick, and that wasn't going to work very well. But now looks like we can get branches. So yeah, I'm very pleased about that. We've got a couple more things to look at, and then that'll be the tour done. The fig that we transplanted is doing well. It looks like it is about to leaf out. I would get my camera in closer, but there is a giant spider's web in that, and I don't want to stick my hand in there. The fig that we had down here has fully leafed out, so I'm pleased about that because it did not look like it was going to for a while. So obviously the extra water has helped it along. The bananas definitely have grown since they got fertilized, which is amazing. So they're doing really well. And then the other good news is that the mandarins have come back to life. So this mandarin, which is the Hickson mandarin, had just those couple of bigger leaves, and it has sent off all these little sprouts there, all the little shoots. So that's great. And then over here, the other mandarin, which is the honey murcot. It also has started to leaf out, which is great because it had absolutely no leaves at all. Final thing to show you down here in the orchard is the mulberry tree, which is a dwarf mulberry that my parents propagated for me, and it is doing really, really well since the transplant, so I'm very pleased. So I thought I'd show you everything, but here is the dragon fruit, which is growing quite well. So that one should be tall enough to put up in the little frame soon, which would be awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me as we toured around my garden. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I've got growing, and I hope you get a chance to get out in your own gardens today. I will catch you on the next video, guys. Bye now.